We continue our midweek motivation series with a Massachusetts native turned filmmaker, Michelle Wax, who's been on a journey to find happiness, and now her new documentary is helping shed some light on what she's found. Michelle, thanks so much for joining us on the Rhode Show.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
And so let's just dive right into it. You basically jumped in your Jeep and left the world behind you on the pursuit of happiness. How and why did you do this?
It's a great question. And at the time, it seemed like kind of a wild idea to go to every state in America and film a documentary on happiness. And I personally had reached this point where I had worked really hard for a number of years, starting my own companies in the food industry. And I was waking up every day. And although objectively, I felt as though I had reached this point of success, I felt stressed, I felt worry, I felt uncertainty. And I really didn't understand why, because my entire life I've been taught that you work hard, you get what you want, and then you'll be happy. And so I had this idea to kind of go to the masses and the people all across the country and see how everyday people are creating more happiness, more fulfillment in their everyday lives in order to create happiness long-term, regardless of external factors, and really focused on what they were doing day to day in their lives that didn't necessarily depend on other people or world events or anything outside of themselves. And so that was really the beginning of it.
I absolutely love this project. I think it's super relatable, but also you actually went and took the initiative to do this. You've kind of become a filmmaker, taught yourself how to become a filmmaker in this process. As you said, traveled to all 50 states, meeting lots of different types of people, and you've really learned some takeaways from this project.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And going into the journey, I wasn't really sure what to expect. You know, like you said, I just hopped in the Jeep and met with hundreds and hundreds of people to interview them. It was incredible hearing the stories of people that, like everyone, you know, had gone through difficult things, had gone through stressful situations, things not going according to plan. And really a big focus or really a big theme across the country was that happiness is a choice. It's not just going to arrive once you reach maybe a certain job title or find the perfect person to be with or buy the material thing. It's really a choice that you have to make each and every day, especially when maybe the world or other people are telling you shouldn't be happy or it's really hard to be happy in this moment. So that was a really big theme. And then along with that is that people were actively working on their mindset and really how they're interpreting what's happening around them instead of, you know, just kind of accepting it for what it is. So kind of that filter that you're viewing your circumstances, the world, the people in your life with is much more important than what's actually happening.
I think in this past year, too, with the pandemic, it seems like people are going within a lot more and thinking about really like connecting with themselves and how they feel and going forward, what that means for them. And so you actually have some tips for people who maybe are on this journey or want to be on this journey to find happiness.
Absolutely. And the first part is really that self-awareness part. And we like to suggest doing a happiness audit and really sitting down and taking an audit of, you know, what's bringing in joy into your life right now, what's bringing in energy. And on the other end of that, what's draining it, what's draining happiness, energy. And this could be a whole variety of factors. We often think of, you know, perhaps it's some aspect of your job or the people in your life or the content you're consuming, whether that be social media, the news, things like that. But it's also a lot to do with your thought process too. How are you really having that internal dialogue with yourself and what things in your life are bringing that joy or draining it? So that first piece of really becoming self-aware of what it is for you, because obviously different things and different circumstances are going to bring in happiness that might not bring it to someone else.
And I think that, you know, it could be a conversation with yourself that is maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but on the other side of that is really where the good stuff is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And looking yourself in the mirror can be the hardest part, but taking that first step is really powerful.
The documentary comes out on February 25th. Let us know where people can find it.
Sure. So if you just Google American Happiness Project, it'll pop right up. You can go to our site and grab a ticket.
Awesome. Michelle, thanks so much for joining us. And as Michelle said, her documentary will be coming out on February 25th, and I will post all of the info on rhodeshow.com.